Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm going to go over Autodesk Remake versus 3DF Zephyr. We got Remake on the left here and 3DF Zephyr on the right. Autodesk Remake is the predecessor to Memento, which I did a comparison of last year. And 3DF Zephyr has just, in the last week or two, released a new update, which is now 3DF Zephyr Lite 3.0. And they actually rolled it out to us Steam users and stuff. See, 3ds Zephyr Lite also did a price cut recently so now it's like just $89, $89.99 on Steam. Let's see, the two are very similar. In fact, I just did a 3DF Zephyr video, so I'll start with Remake actually. So, with Remake, the process is just very simple. In fact, you can't even you add the photos to the project, and then it generates the model. But after it generates the model, you can't add alignment points. You can't add like this point matches this point like you can in a lot of softwares. It's just all automatic. So if it doesn't triangulate the photos, it will not triangulate the photos. That being said, what I found the greatest, benefit of Remake here is they added mesh sculpting tools, which are just awesome. To that you can edit the mesh, sculpt, brush size, rounded, pull. You can see it's doing something there, pulling the model. Let me strengthen it. Rounded, flat, pull. You see? So it's got the mesh editing features just built right into it like this, which is spectacular. So you can see what Remake is doing is that they're integrating the photogrammetry software with their other suite of tools and stuff. And it's got nice, like, discards. You can just discard all that stuff and get rid of it. Really nice. The slice, it's got this slicing tool built into it now that lets you hold on, go up. See, this lets you slice the model, which is useful because it still will not grab the other side of the model. But that's more my issues. Let's see, it has a nice fill holes feature in it. So what I did with this one, when this one was finished, it had these two connected, the trigger and the trigger guard. So what I did was what did I do? I selected the units. I just selected all these here and deleted them in this little line. And then I went in with the sculpted and then I went in with the fill holes, and I filled this hole and I filled that hole. And then I went through and I did the surface editing tools and smoothed out this trigger guard because it was flat and janky. And now when it's come out like that, it's really nice. And it's superior to all the other photogrammetry softwares in terms of editing the mesh. There's nothing out there that can do this. Extrude, bridge gaps, smooth boundaries, surface tools, slice and fill. Yeah, like I said, the slicing tool, it works really well, and it's a necessary feature just the way that it's working right now. Analyze, measure distance. It also has the scale built into it right here. And I believe it is, where are you at? Set scale, analyze, measure distance. So I knew that this right here was like 24. It was a while since I did it. It was like 24.7 millimeters. Yeah. But it's the cylinder, not that spot. So this cylinder to the back of the cylinder, 25.29 millimeters. But yeah, that's just it's got percentage here and it's got value. It's got two ways you can do it. You can just scale the whole bounding box here, or you can do point-based scaling. So like these 2 points, same way I did it. Then you have to do the scale factor, I believe, and have to do this. I forgot exactly how I did it, but it works really. It worked pretty well because I scaled it pretty easily using these tools built inside of it. And that's one of the differences with 3DF Zephyr is I believe the Pro version, you have to get the Pro version to scale it inside. And let's see, it also has the Decimate mesh feature. Yeah, let me see if I can get 25,000. Decimation. I have to say the same thing as Memento was last year, is just how easy Memento is, or Remake is. See, like that just decimated that mesh. Now let me see wireframe. How do I view wireframe? Visualization. Here's all your tools here. Solid with wireframe. Textured with wireframe. That's what I want. And that right there is probably the best decimation. It beats 3DF Zephyr's decimation. That looks really good. Yes, that looks very, very good. I also believe when you export these models, I believe when you export the models, it will generate the normals and the diffusion maps. Yeah, so this is that pistol that I did. And it has the displacement map, the normal map, and the textures that it gives. It gives all of them, which is very good. I don't think the other ones do that. Let's see. You can see the texture is nice. I believe it got a smoother curve here on this scan than the 3DF Zephyr did. However, you know, with me, it's still that problem that it will not grab the other side. So what I had to do was I had to run two different scans. First I scanned the top half, this white half, and then I ran the same photo set through with the other half of photos, the rusty half of this pistol. And to make it complete, I had to go through and slice the model in half. Slice it in half right along the I did it right along the front post there, because that's the midway marker of the pistol. And it works. And then after I sliced them, I put the two pieces together, and I don't know, I tried to do it in mesh slab, but I couldn't quite get them to align right, so I just abandoned that, and I just I made some 3D prints of this remake scan. To make the 3D prints, I had to I actually took it into Mesh Mixer and I mirrored it. I mirrored it along this edge so that the 3D printed model I made is actually, it's just this half mirrored onto the other half. It's not the actual other half of the pistol, but there's almost no difference between one side and the other. It's just the only difference is, like, this is the swing out piece for the cylinder, and that's not on the other side. But yeah, it's I have to say it's really nice. 3D print, publish to gallery, export images, export video. And I believe the export video, it spins. I did one of them. Yeah, see, it spins the model around and it'll give you just a video. I mean, that's great for making some GIFs and stuff for your Twitter page and GIFs for Instagram and YouTube and stuff like that. Yep, very nice export video feature. Now let's go take a look at 3DF Zephyr Lite. Now, 3DF Zephyr Lite is more complicated. It's not the super duper simple formula that Autodesk has there. But you can see with this pistol, it grabbed the other side of the model. That's the only issue I've got with Remake, is that it won't grab the other side of the model. And I tried to, I reached out to the developers, and they're like, oh, there's something wrong with your photo sets. So yeah, whatever, Remake. The developer told me this when I know there's nothing wrong with that photo set. It works in every other type. He's like, oh, there's shadows in there. There ain't no shadow. It's I don't know. They just kind of try to write me off. So whatever. But I've made some other videos on 3DF Zephyr before. The workflow is you just new project. You go and you add the cameras, and it's got 3 levels of detail. When you go to align these cameras, it's like default, easy, deep setting is like the more advanced setting. And then it's got the exhaustive setting that will take like an hour or 2 or more to run, but it will give you much cleaner stuff. And after you align the cameras, it goes through and it aligns all these cameras here in the sphere. The next step is to, this is after the first step. It'll give you the sparse point cloud. So then you go through and you clean it up with like this tool here. And you can just delete all the extra junk using the select. You can even do inverted. I like to do it like this. Then I'll invert selection, so that'll get all the points on the outside of the model. And then I just delete those points. It also has a select by color tool where you go through and you can select like this white color here. And you can select all the points with that color, which is very, very nifty. Yeah, after you do sparse point cloud, that's the first step. The next step is the dense point cloud generation. But I don't want to see all of them. And I haven't even messed with the 3.0 update much. I started to today, but they just released it for everyone. I think last week. No, I don't want to select by color anymore. Thank you. Yep. So once you get your dense point cloud like that is, you then go and generate a mesh, and that's the first mesh. And the second mesh there is one where I decimated the mesh down, but I haven't retextured it yet. Yep. So after you get that, I believe after you get that, it's time to scale. Okay, so now scale is in. Scale wasn't in here when I did it last time. So they added scale for 3DF Zephyr Lite users, which is great. That was one of the things that Remake had that it did not. So go through and you scale it. And I've already scaled this one to the same. That's 24.75 millimeters. But these let you orient the world, right? Cancel. And then this is define the up vector by selecting 2 points. So if you wanted to make the pistol straight up, you can select, let's see, define up vector by 2 points. Come here, you. And it'll do it like that. And you drag it up, and it will just define the up vector like that. And that, I have to say, that's a little bit better than Remake's version of it. Like, to set the scene upright is this weird kind of toggle thing where you have to go around, or I'm not really sure how their set the scene upright works. I mean, I did it, but it's clunky and complicated. You can see the interface it gives you there, where I believe you use these two like a target system, and you keep it inside that circle and make it flat, and that makes it upright. But I found that to be lacking a little bit. Whereas with that one, where you just go and select the 2 points, that's very nice. We can then even do by selecting a plane, and you can select like this plane here. Let's see, and then you can define the bounding box, which Remake does not have as well. So you can just show the bounding box, and then you can scale it or translate it. So let's see, let me rotate it. Grab the red axes. See, it lets you completely completely adjust the bounding box to snugly fit around your item in your scan, which is great. That's a lot better than the orientation tool on Zephyr. Scale bounding box allows you to bring it in and out. What is that? Reset bounding box. Yeah. Oh, wait. Let me undo that. Undo all that. And then you just close the bounding box to bring it out. What are these other features here? Disable mesh, scene tools, mesh filters, decimation, fill holes. It's got some fill hole features on it, but I definitely use decimation a lot, so you can see with... However, it's doing some weird stuff where it's showing all of the selected... It's showing like all of the selected meshes, so you have to unselect all of them. Unselect all those meshes. I only want to see you. Yeah, so once I get to that... So once you get to meshes and you scale it, define the up sector, scale the bounding box and make the bounding box right, then you go to textured mesh generation and you start making your meshes. You see I have a lot here because they're decimated in different ones. Like textured mesh 1 is 100,000 triangles, and I believe the actually original textured mesh is quite a bit more. Yeah, see the original is like 2 million triangles, decimated down to 100,000. I don't want to see you no more. Now show me this one. And see, this one's down to 50,000. And this one is 20,000. And for some reason, I can't get it to go below 20,000. But maybe they fixed that in 3.0, because that was 2.0, and I did talk to them about that. So maybe they fixed that, 20,000. But yeah, that's how you decimate the mesh. Let me show the wireframe. Show me wireframe. Change mask, change stat, options, matches, Yeah, anyway, moving on. You can see how it decimated it. It doesn't, honestly, I don't think the decimation doesn't look as good as Remake on this one. I mean, I like the lines on that Remake decimation better. You can see how it kind of clipped away part of the cylinder here. Looks a little blocky. No big deal. But yeah, and after you get that, you have all your levels of detail inside of this one program here, and you just sort of export textured mesh OBJ. It exports, but this one will not export diffusion maps and the bump maps and stuff. Only Remake will do that. And let's say they lowered the price on 3DF Zephyr to where the price is now $89.99 on Steam. And that's just a flat out buy. Once you buy it, you have it. The price for Remake, they've actually gone with a software as a service type model to where you're going to pay $30 a month for Remake or $300 a year. Let me look at my notes, see if there's anything else I wanted to say about it. They're both doing lots of updates to their systems. They both seem very responsive. I've talked to both of them. However, when I brought up the issue of not getting the bottom of the mesh to Remake, the Remake developers, they basically told me that there's something wrong with my photo set, which there's nothing at all wrong with the photo set. You can see it works over here at 3DF Zephyr just fine. I think 3DF Zephyr now has integrated laser scanning support as well. That's on my notes. Yeah, they've added laser scan support, but I'm not sure how to do that because I've never used that. I've only done photogrammetry. Oh, from 3DF Zephyr. Yeah. Anyway, let me wrap this up. I think they're both excellent. I think they're both really good. Like I said, the sculpting tools inside of Remake are freaking awesome. The slicing tool inside of Remake's awesome. You can see what they're doing is they're integrating their other, like, their existing software they've got for sculpting and stuff into their photogrammetry software. And I'd probably use Remake more if they could just fix that issue I've got. I'd be very happy to use it because let's even look at this. I felt like the lines are cleaner on this spot right here than on the Zephyr model. You see, they look pretty janky and jagged there. Which means I'd have to export this one and take it into take it like Mesh Mixer and then edit it and then bring it back in so I could reproject the textures onto it. Whereas with Remake, it's just all in one. It's let's see. Remake also has the cloud computing feature, so if you got to do work in the field or something, you could actually upload your pictures to Remake. Kind of like 123D Catch, but not quite simple. So yeah, in closing, Remake is quite a bit simpler to use. It has some more robust features in some ways, mesh editing, but 3DF Zephyr is cheaper. It will grab both sides of the model. 3DF Zephyr has more like alignment tools to where if you miss a couple photos, like these didn't get aligned, you can actually go through and realign this like Orient Selected. Whereas if Remake doesn't grab the photos and doesn't attach them to it, it just won't do it. There's no way to change that inside the program at all. So they seem like Remake's going kind of towards the more new users of photogrammetry, and 3DF Zephyr is a little bit more advanced, but not much. Their orientation tools are better. I think the orientation tools of 3DF Zephyr are better. Yeah. The exporting features of Remake are better. And that's about where we stand. It's still, there's still no clear winner in what's the best photogrammetry software yet. It's still, each one of them has their benefits, and each one's got benefits. I think they're both excellent solutions, and I'm probably going to use both of them going forward in different projects. And yeah, anyway, with that, I'm going to be out, guys. Like, subscribe if you like this kind of content. I will see y'all dudes later.